nice to see you again, too. We're sort of on the same page.
Yes, it sounds like it, yes.
And, you know, it's
I don't know if you've seen my petition.
I know we can't bring back the sons and daughters of them, but what you're doing is going to help other people, sons and daughters. And, you know, a lot of times, you know what we need to do, too? We got to go protest over at the courthouse.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we're arresting these people.
Yes, I know.
And the guns and the gang stuff is a public. They got to stop letting them out.
Yeah.
You were the Tonius thing, the mom you all spoke to. So, Sheila Shepherd, Miss Tamara Clark's mom, I heard off my heart.
Yeah.
You know. Well, thank you. They told me, they said they're on their way, guys. Okay, I'm coming down to meet you then.
Okay, thank you.
Did you want me to say anything or just me?
Yeah, I mean, you can say something that would be nice to just let it know that you are on with what we're trying to do.
We're on the same job, but it's your show. So
That sounds good. We should be ready.
You know, I always got to write my stuff down.
Is your mic
Is my mic on?
This is on.
That's on. Okay.
And the speaker's on. So if you speak up nice and loud, they should be able to hear.
Just why I didn't know if she knew that.
Let's make sure they can hear you.
You can have this one then.
Thank you.
Hello? Can you guys hear me? A little bit? Yeah. I know that's right. Yeah. Oh, you want me to hold it? Are you going to hold it?
That megaphone. You might have to use that megaphone.
It's okay.
No, it's okay.
Just
okay.
loud.
Oh, she's got it.
Yeah, we got it. Yeah, we got it. Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to remind everyone about the mask and social distancing. I would like to thank the street outreach workers from New North Citizens Council for helping keeping things in order. And I also would like to thank the Springfield Police Department for helping us feel safe on the walk. Today's March event is to give awareness to the police, the mayor, community, and the court system, the violence and the missing persons that's going on in the city.
Want to try that?
Since the COVID-19, the violence and the missing person has risen, with 5 murders alone in June from gun violence. Missing persons, October, November, December, and January. We also want to shed light on how gun violence and missing persons affect families, mental health. We are tired of burying our loved ones with no consequences. We're here to fight together to make Springfield better. We definitely have to get to the ground root of the problem, but also we need some strict gun laws. Yeah, I know. I don't need that. We cannot have killers walking in the community, having us in fear. Why would we want to speak to police if the killers are not in jail? And for the missing, we need something to put in place for families that are not Amber Alert age and not the elderly age. So with that being said, I was supposed to have Brother Benjamin do a prayer, but we're gonna let Mayor Sarno say a few things.
Okay. Thank you, Juanita.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
that. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna use you too there. You hold it. You know, before we start, let's take a moment of silence for the lives that have been lost to gun violence and gang violence. Thank you very much. Juanita, I really want to thank you. We were together not too long ago with school committee woman Latonia Naylor on the rally we had here on City Hall steps. And I spoke to moms who have lost their loved ones, whether Sheila Shepherd, Tamara Clark's mom. And what you are doing today will not bring back the sons and daughters who have lost their lives. But what you are doing today, I'm going to take my mask off, is going to help prevent other sons and daughters and grandchildren from losing their lives. As soon as I saw Juanita today, we gave a little smile because we're on the same page. And you know, we talk about public health crisis, but gun violence, gang violence is a public health crisis. And our dedicated and brave men and women in blue are out there day in and day out taking these individuals off our streets and out of our neighborhoods. Now, I'm glad that you went to the police department, and I'm glad you came to my second home here at City Hall, but we need to march.
To the courthouse.
That's exactly right. We need to march, and we need to be heard loud and clear to the courthouse. Because as Juanita indicated, it drives me crazy, and I don't care what creed, color, or background, that violent offenders are allowed to walk our streets, our neighborhoods, my neighborhoods, and then be able to perpetuate crime all the way up to murder. And that has to stop. And I need your voices to be heard as we put legislation across to the State House, and the governor has put legislation too. But these are for the individuals, again, no matter what background, that just don't get it, that just don't respect that a life or lives have been lost. But yet, when they go to the courthouse with some of the judges, a little slap on the hands, and they're right back in our streets and in our neighborhoods. While you mothers, the fathers, the family members, the dear friends, have to remember every day that that lost one is gone. So I will continue to stand with you, but I need you to stand with me. And we need to let our legislature, the courts, and some judges hear that we're all for second chances if it's not a hideous crime and it's earned, and all about empowerment. But you cannot have individuals who have perpetrated negative crimes, who have shot people, who have murdered people. And the other thing too, what Juanita said, we want to work together. And it's difficult to work together when they'll say, Mayor, Dominic, hey, Sarno, we worked with you. And what Juanita said, that person's right back on the street again. So the next march or the next protest or our continued voices need to be heard loud and clear at the courthouse with some of the judges, and also to our state legislature to back the legislation I have there on bail issues and dangerousness issues that Governor Baker has. These are for the individuals that don't seem to want to learn. So I commend each and every one of you, because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of heart. It takes a lot of perseverance, because you are suffering. All you have is the memory of that picture, but you're out here to send the message that no one else will lose a son or a daughter. So Juanita, I thank you so, so much, and God bless you all, and good health to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Will you march with us next time?
Yeah, I put March at the time of my schedule, but I wanted to make sure I was here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, we're going to call City Councilman Adam Gomez. Oh, sorry. Let me get out the way.
Chester. Chester, 1, 2.
There it go. There it go.
All right, excuse the delay. Just want to thank Mayor Sarno, because he does speak truth to power specific to these heinous, and the truth is that it might seem that government is not working together, but specifically when it comes to this specific problem of gun violence. And it's no secret, a lot of people known that I've grown up, and my road to city council was no Christmas. And everybody understands and knows that I've worked collectively with New North Citizens Council. I've worked with Martin Luther King Center. I've worked with Roca. I've worked with the whole community specifically and going into lockup and talking to these folks that the kids, when they get in trouble, when they start matriculating into getting into these bigger crimes, trying to give them a way out, trying to tell them about the stories of personal things that I've went to, things that I've experienced. And the issue, it's rooted into services. And when we don't have enough services within our city or within the community, essentially, the mayor and the city council can do so much if the community at hand doesn't have our back. And when he's talking about marching to the courthouse, he's dead on and spot on. I can't count how many people I've lost to gun violence. I can't say that I didn't grow up in a neighborhood that I knew somebody that was next to me that was carrying a gun. That's just the truth and the norms of the community that we live in. But fact of the matter is that I'm a true testament that if you want to change, if you want to be different, if you want to come and be a city councilor or be a community organizer or work for one of these folks, and what the mayor says about his new program that he's bringing forward called with street cred, these individuals that know the neighborhood, that love our community, but have grown and excelled and transformed to the next level of trying to make sure that they claim, maybe they had a little bit of to do with what's going on in the neighborhood, but they're willing to come back and clean it back up. So I stand with you, moms, because there's no secret when organizing, we lost a great friend to this city named Jafet Robles in another town to gun violence. We just lost a mother to gun violence. We've lost children. We've lost officers. Officer Ambrose. And don't get it conflicted that we are all on the same page. When it comes to the issues, we need to stay on task and make sure that we are pushing on and not being distracted. The mayor needs 110% when it comes to violent crimes. When it comes to criminal justice reform isn't for violent criminals. Criminal justice reform is for somebody that's willing to stand out there and say, you get caught with a gun that is unlawful and illegal, you need to go to jail. You need to be held accountable. Not one time, not two times, and not wait that many times, because how easily it is for our children to obtain a weapon, and Massachusetts has one of the strictest gun laws in the continental United States. Right. But the fact of the matter is that the surrounding states, some of them are a little bit weaker, and we are trying, but it's organizations and a table and me to support more, and the moms and all the other organizations, Campaign Nonviolence, to be able to push forward, and we have somebody that's willing to support that piece of legislation that Mayor Sarno's talking about at the State House. But moreover, we need a lot more conversation where we trust each other. We cannot continue tearing each other down. We have to amplify the fact that we need each other. No, like he said, not more on the ground of if I'm black or brown or blue or white. The fact of the matter is that we have a human cause and a human dignity to want to survive for these little folks right in front of us. Yes. That they have a future. Yes. So with that being said, I don't want to be long-winded. I just want to say I'm with you guys 110%. I'm with legislation when it comes to violent criminal offenders, holding them accountable. But at the same time, we have to apply some services so that we can make sure when we plant our seeds, we water our gardens. Absolutely. So that we can give them their flowers when they're alive and not when they are dead.
Yes. Yes.
God bless you all. We love you. Keep on pushing. Let's keep on fighting for black lives. And with that being said, thank you so much. It's all yours.
Thank you. You next. What next? Can you hear me? I don't know. Next, we're going to have Tangela Clark.
Let me see. I hope we got some more juice on it.
Yeah, I know, because it don't sound
I got
good.
a big mouth.
I'll hold it.
Well, I'm here to reiterate what the mayor and everyone else is saying about the gun violence. And I think we have a really big issue with the judges allowing these criminals to come on our streets after they've been charged more than once with illegal weapons. And we need to have the judges accountable for their actions. We take part of what we're doing, they need to take part of what they're doing. So we really need to fight together, not just us mothers who's mourning. all mothers, all fathers of this community should be out here with us, because my granddaughter needs to survive this city. Your grandchildren need to survive this city. In order for us to do that, we have to fight together, and there has to be changes made with that judicial system. It is just ridiculous how someone can get arrested and be out of jail in 5-6 hours and carry a gun and shoot someone on the streets of Springfield. And my daughter lost her life on June 26th. I am outraged, but I would never be silent. For Tamara, I shall fight till I have no breath in me. So I would like everyone in this community to fight with us. We need to fight together. It's not enough, just us. The whole community needs to come together and fight. So I would like us, our next march needs to be greater. We need to be louder. And we need the judges to hear us. Because what they're doing is not contributing to our issue. It is contributing to our issue, but it's not solving our problems. It's making our problems worse. Because those same fellows are the same ones that's out here pulling the trigger. So we need to make them understand how they're ruining this city. This city is ruined with gun violence. There's an epidemic across this country. There's an epidemic here, but we can change it here. We need to fight here. For Tamara and for other unsolved murders, I would not stay silent. Tamara death would not be in silence for no one. So I will fight with Juanita and more and any other organization that's out here trying to change this city and these streets. We need to do it together today. And I thank all of you for coming out. We need every one of you each and every time we talk, walk, and move. We need you, and I thank you.
Next, we're gonna call up Carmen Jimenez. Why don't sound like us?
Because y'all not talking on the phone. Yeah, I've been calling them.
But if you have it, just get it on, please.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I will.
I'm sorry.
English not gonna do this.
I'm going to tell you you want to do it here.
You want me to hold it that way you can see it? Like that. Okay?
Talk into it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Carmen Jimenez. I am here today because my son Jordan Rodriguez was shot, killed last year on March 17, 19. Tomorrow is gonna be 1 year and 4 months. And he was killed, shot in Oakland Street, Springfield. And we want justice and action to be taken. The violence does not stop, and one thing that can help is to put cameras in the areas where a lot of these crimes are happening. We want peace, and we will continue fighting. I'm praying for all the person who got kids, and you know, I want to save lives. That's why we're here, Juanita, me, and the other mothers. So appreciate the life and spoke with your sons and kids. If they in dangerous, please do something. Support them and don't wait for until they death or something like that. It's not healthy for us. We're still fighting, cry for them. Sometimes I can sleep, but I know my son is gonna have justice soon. My son was making beats for rappers in Springfield, and you see, after that, nobody is friends. Nobody come to me and say what you need. Yeah. But they still doing crazy stuff.
Yeah.
We want to be. I'm here to be here and find peace for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you, Carmen.
Next, we're gonna call Marie Rivera. Oh, there you go, Rivera.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Y'all can hear now.
Yeah. up.
Where do I talk? Where do I talk?
Right here.
Right here, dude.
Where?
Just talking to them.
You're talking to them right now.
You don't gotta pick it
Nope.
up.
Okay.
So good.
Hi, my name is Marie Rivera. My name is Marie Rivera, and my son Jovan Vergara has been missing since. He's one of the missings from last year, in December of 2019. It's been 7 months now, nearly 8 months, and he still hasn't been found. There are absolutely no leads, no suspects, and I truly believe that if law enforcement would have took action right away, maybe I would have had a lead, but they took about 2 months to start acting on my case. I have reached out to practically everybody in law enforcement just to take this case more serious. And as of right now, there has been many leads and tips that have came in, and they've been followed up on, but we don't have no answers yet. He had a lot of friends out here, and none of them have also reached out. No one knows anything. I don't wish this on anyone of not knowing and not having any closure. And I'm afraid that all these missing bodies that went missing last year, they all turned up in the Connecticut River, and there's no explanation for that. And I believe that something really is happening out here. Something is really definitely happening out here, and they're not saying, because one person each month went missing last year, and they all turned up in the Connecticut River. And how is that? There's no explanation. So they label them as mental state or suicidal. And I've talked to all the families, and they don't have no history of suicide or any mental issues. So what is it that the city is hiding from us? And I believe that I'm here to speak my mind, because I believe that law enforcement needs to act more on this case, because they've brushed me off lots of times, including I came to your office, Dominic Sarno, and now that you're here, I want to tell everybody that your assistant told me that if what I wanted you to do, to put on a cape and go around flying around looking for my son. That's the disrespect that I got in your office, leaving me out there crying, looking for answers. I tried to come back and tell you this. Your assistant, your aide.
When I came out,
I came back the next day because I wanted you to help me to make the law enforcement be more active on my case.
I remember Commissioner Claproot and another detective came.
Yes, but I came back after again because I didn't see that law enforcement were doing anything. I reported the place my son was last seen, which there's an address of where he was last seen, and they took him 2 months just to investigate that apartment. 2 months. They didn't act on it right away. Me and my family had to be out there doing searches, going down bridges and walking the banks of the rivers, and no search has been done for my son. Never a K9 unit dog was used for my son on that same day when I reported. And this is why I don't have no leads and no nothing. So where is my son at? Who did this to my son? And like I said, I needed to bring that out there so you can, tell your aide. Because he disrespected me. Like I said, he asked me, what did I want you to do? To put on a cape and go flying around looking for my son.
I'm not aware.
Okay?
I remember we came out
Yeah.
and spoke to the
Now you
commissioner.
didn't do it, he did it, but you as a mayor, can you enforce this law enforcement to act more actively on the missing as well as, the homicide victims, but for the missing, because there's no answers right now. So my son can still be out there somewhere, not willingly, but I know somebody did this, So anyways, I don't wish this on anybody at all. I have no closure, and God bless you all for having, all this faith and fighting. Thank you. Love you. Where do I put it? Okay, here. I'm nervous.
Put it right here.
I'm sorry.
I remember speaking.
Yeah, he did. But
So we can follow. I know what the commissioner had, but I don't know what happened after that.
Okay.
Here,
Our next speaker would be Felicia Wheeler. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Felicia Wheeler. I lost my youngest son, Tyrell Wheeler, in 2011 at the age of 16. His death has affected my life and my family's because he was shot in his car and fought for his life and was scared. He was murdered at a young age of 16, and his murder has still been unsolved. My son was only 16 years old when he died, and before he died, he buried more than 16 people.
I apologize.
When I attended a funeral this year in 2020 for one of his other family members, I took a saying that a pastor said that our community has post-traumatic street disorder. That is our PTSD. That there's kids running around with guns that are illegal and being released from jail and on bracelet monitors and getting a slap on the wrist and being arrested 6 deep in a car with semi-automatics, and they know they weren't going to a circus or a party. All of the 6 that were arrested, as Mayor Sarno said, he needs our help, but we need his help. What do we need to do? We can walk until we get blisters on our feet, but what we need to gather and come together to do is change laws. We need to come together to change and petition to control gun laws. We will never stop the violence or stop convicted felons with gun charges to be released with ankle monitors back into our community and cause chaos and devastation to our city, which is our city where I'm not going nowhere. I want to raise my grandkids, and I want to remember my son, as young as he was, and as many times as I've been to Oak Grove with him and now without him is ridiculous. In the last 4 months, I've been to over 7 funerals for people that love me and respect me and call me auntie. So I ask all those guys, I know you're mad, you're not getting justice for loved ones that have been murdered, but let justice come in the right way, because God said, thou shalt not kill. We got sayings around the country and we all know it. The devil is busy, but God is good all the time. We need to come together with love and structure, and we need to make laws change. We can't keep having these things happening and people getting released with semi-automatics. They say we don't make guns and we don't sell guns, but that's not the truth, because my son sung and rhymed, and I never heard it until he died. And he had one lyric that's called Home of the Handguns, where OGs come out for their grandsons. And he was talking about his grandfather, Speedo Harvey Naylor, who used to come out because a village it takes to raise a child when these kids are out here being enticed and encouraged to hang out and be in gangs. We got a big family and we got a big family structure. We need more love and more unity. Okay? Smith & Wesson is home of the handguns of Massachusetts. And we can't keep saying black lives matter when all lives matter. And black on black crime been going on for just way too long. And blacks and Puerto Ricans are minorities, and we got to stick together as such and stop having this violence against these black and Puerto Rican minority men. We got to come in peace and come together now, because we got children that are mourning and suffering and trying to commit suicide and taking drugs because they're hurting, and substance abuse. We need mental health counseling and things of this nature. I hate the fact that I never spoke before, and I never want to be in a group because I always felt like they was finagling money on the life of my son. Now I'm coming and I'm speaking, and I'm not shutting up because I didn't speak soon enough, and all my friends is now walking in my shoes and burying their kids, and I'm sorry for that I didn't speak sooner.
I'm very sorry, and I'm gonna be here for whenever we need to get together and come together, and we're gonna get more people out, but we're gonna not just walk in vain. We're gonna walk to make a change.
Yes.
And the change is in gun control.
Yes. That's all I gotta say.
I love you.
Thank you, Fee. Thank you, Felicia.
Thank you for saying those words.
Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Powerful, powerful. We're gonna have our next speaker is Michelle Thomas. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry, but I have to pull my mask down because I want to make sure that I'm heard. Okay? I can agree with all the mothers that have been up here. I know your pain. So I come to talk to you about a mother's pain. Okay? My son was killed September 27, 2018. On our city streets right here, Norfolk Street in Springfield. I just want everybody here to just take 1 minute and close your eyes. Imagine your phone ringing at 10 something at night, okay? After a hard day's work, working at the Eastern States, which was Big E time. And just close your eyes and imagine answering your phone to your son has been shot, and it doesn't look like he's breathing. Well, I got to the scene within 20 minutes of my son being shot and killed, okay? Nevertheless, if you look right down the street, there was a fire. All of our fire department, police, everything was there. The individual shot 11 shots. 2 hit my son, 1 in the back of his head and 1 in his back. When I got to the scene, there was over 100 people standing there, greeting me as my daughter and myself pulled up. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anything. But yet and still, in my ear, my right ear, and my left ear, this name kept coming, okay? Text a tips kept going, all right? They text a tip right there at the scene. They're texting a tip, a name of an individual. Needless to say, I stayed there until almost 2, 3 in the morning. Why? Because my son's body was laying there, and they would not let me go near him. Okay? It was a nightmare in itself. Okay? So let me explain something to all of you who have not walked in our shoes. Let me tell you how it is to walk in our shoes. You will never have a day that goes by that you don't think and shed a tear. You will never have another holiday that you had before. You will never be able to celebrate your child that you birthed on his birthday again, okay? Because he's not there. We're going to Oak Grove to celebrate our children. Enough is enough, okay? We have politicians that are out here. Our state representatives, they have districts. I can guarantee you, because I asked this question another time when I spoke. Do you know how many murders have occurred in just your area alone? Why? Why? Why aren't you going through and seeing what's going on in your cities? No, because you want to know what? They're taking a whole different route. They'll go almost to Connecticut and come out through Long Meadow to go home so they don't have to drive through our neighborhood. When is the last time one of you, Mayor, have just went into one of our stores in the black neighborhoods and just bought a pack of gum? just to go in there to patronize, okay, to keep it going. You go all around the areas to get where you want to go. You have to wake up and you have to smell the coffee just like we do. It's getting to a point where now we can't even have visuals for our children. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
They're coming and shooting up your cookout.
Yes.
How dare you?
Yes.
Come on, Springfield Police. Y'all know who it is. Y'all know these repeaters. I got word that the individual that took my son's life, who's still walking the streets, has 2 others before my son. Why is he out on the streets? Nevertheless, he has not even been questioned. Not even been questioned. But let me tell you this. The night in question, my daughter started screaming. I told my brother to stay home. I told my brother, just don't go out. But she was questioned. She was questioned. Okay? This is how our police department treats us. I'm going to the police station every day. I need to know something. I want answers. I need to know. I have yet to get a police report. Going on 2 years. They gave me the police report the next day. Every day I ask for a police report. Oh, why do you need that? What do you need it for? Because it's my child. Okay? And I deserve to know what's going on. Okay? Nevertheless, I was going to the police department and guess what they told me? Miss Thomas, if you come back down here one more time, we're arresting you. Did y'all hear that? If I come down here one more time, they were going to arrest me. I looked at them and said, on what grounds?
No grounds.
Harassing the police department. What? I said, well, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Tomorrow, on my way to work, like I do usually come, have the handcuffs on the table. Because I will be here. And when I walked in there that very next day, they looked at me like I had literally lost my mind. Okay? Like, I know you're not bad. And said it to me. And I said, have you lost a child? That's why I'm here.
Thank you.
So people, all I'm saying to you, we got to talk. We got to fight together. This is not a one-man show. Okay, we got to come together. I don't care. I'm involved in I don't know how many organizations. I can't even call it. Okay, but you know what? Every mother that's out here fighting, I will stand with you. I will stand for you. I will be a part of, and I will walk these streets until I do have blisters. If I'm gonna make a difference, there has to be a change.
Yes.
Not only are they taking our sons, but now they're taking daughters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We need a change.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Make a change, people.
Okay, next we're gonna have Wendy Hollis and Patricia to talk on mental health, how gun violence and missing persons affects mental health. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Excuse me.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Wendy Hollis. I'm an RN, and I've worked as a school nurse for the past 12 years. And this is my coworker, Patricia Polite. She's a social worker who works within the school system. Loss of a loved one whether by gun violence or missing person, is a tragedy that sends those left behind spiraling into a dark place of never-ending grief.
I can't hear you.
When a loved one goes missing, there is the added burden of no closure. Often, these families lack the resources needed to help them cope with their loss and their trauma. Feeling alone in their depression can lead to substance abuse and family dysfunction. Children become filled with anxiety, unable to focus on schoolwork, becoming unsuccessful and resulting in low self-esteem. Often, kids act out from frustration and anger in self-destructive ways, such as aggression, leading to more violence, or sexual acting out, resulting in premature parenthood. Kids living with neighborhood violence experience the trauma of insecurity and feeling unsafe in their own home and in their surroundings. Confined and bored inside the house, they often turn to video games, substance abuse, and overeating. Lack of physical activity and other stimulus affecting both physical and mental health in negative ways. All of this can become a downward cycle of generational dysfunction within families and communities, which is why it is crucial for this community to unite in supporting and promoting Moore's demands for positive change. Amen.
Thank you, Wendy.
And now Patricia will speak about specific instances.
Thank you. Thank you, Patricia.
Patricia,
Yes.
Juanita, I have to leave for a minute, okay? So, okay? Thank you.
When Donnie was asked what did he want to do for his 18th birthday, he said, Miss P, I'm glad I made it to see 18. He was shot and killed less than 1 week after turning 18. Wow. Annually, 3,000 children and teens, ages 0 to 19, are killed, shot, or wounded. That's an average of 43 young people every day. Children are harmed also when a friend or family member is killed by gun violence, ultimately impacting the psychological well-being and mental well-being, along with affecting school performance. When I returned back to school in the fall of last year, Derek's brother returned to school in the fall. We had a moment of silence for his brother at school because the whole school was devastated by this tragedy and this loss. Derek came back with a slight edge to him and was very quiet for the first few weeks of school. By the second week, Derek was yelling and screaming at his teacher when he was redirected. Most of his teachers, by the end of the third week, were like, Miss P, you got to do something with Mr. Derek here because he's just acting all out. Derek was projecting his anger towards his teachers. When I asked him how he was dealing with the loss of his brother, he looked at me and said, oh, that's nothing. I don't even think about it. By the end of the month, Derek stopped coming to school. When I called his mother, she told me he stays in his room all day with the shades down in his bed. Grief, anger, PTSD all began to sink into Derek and manifest into depression about the loss of his brother. Immediately, I gave his mother the number for crisis so she could have crisis come to evaluate Derek because he was making something called passive suicidal ideations. He said, I just want to be where my brother is at. And I knew where his brother was at, 6 feet under. Crisis came to evaluate Derek, and they were able to evaluate him and connect him with services such as PHP, which is a partial hospitalization program, a psychiatrist for medications, and a therapist, and someone for him to talk to get his anger and frustrations out. When Derek did come back to school, at our school we have River Valley counselors in there. So we set up a time for Derek to go and meet with the counselor once a week to check in. And we created a safety plan for Derek in school, which that plan was also shared with his teachers. Once back at school, Derek started to come back around. In closing, I would just like to say school communities must look inside their schools. Create community schools by building effective partnerships with students, families, yes, and the school resource officers also too. They can be helpful, at least some can. School-based programs that promote social emotional learning, mentoring programs, Hip Hop Heals, community service learning programs, and Becoming a Man program are programs that have shown to reduce the negative effects of exposure to violence. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robin Knight, and I'm the local Pioneer Valley chapter lead for Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense. Moms Demand Action envisions a country where children and families are safe from violence. Our nonpartisan grassroots movement has grown to include a chapter in every state across the country. We are educating, motivating, and mobilizing supporters to take actions that will result in stronger laws and policies that would save lives. As we continue to advocate for strong gun laws at the state and the federal level, we've begun to expand our work. We seek to support community-driven, evidence-based violence intervention, prevention, and also identify root causes of gun violence in the community. We believe that those closest to the problem are the ones closest to the solution. For decades, communities like Springfield have grappled with disproportionately high rates of gun violence. They continue to work hard to develop, to implement, and sustain effective violence reduction programs. Our goal is to learn more about this work and to develop partnerships to support the groups that are leading it, to support you guys. Every town is also currently developing their policing policy and accountability platform. It includes, but is not limited to, a focus on improving police culture and how law enforcement interact with their communities. Other parts speak to accountability, transparency, and standards for blocking excessive force. We are privileged today to stand with Juanita Batchelder, her organization MORE, and all of the other community entities represented here today in their presentation of this petition, and also to share their vision for a safe, supportive, and thriving Springfield for everyone. Thank you.
Nice job, Robin.
Oh, you need the petition to read, right?
Oh, yeah, it's my turn.
I have it. I think so.
What about Josiah Gonzalez?
You're Josiah. Go ahead.
Huh?
Yes, Josiah.
Yeah, Josiah Gonzalez from New North Citizens Council.
Thank you so much,
You're
Juanita.
welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to say first and foremost that my heart goes out to all of the mothers that are mourning the loss of a child. There are no words that I could ever say that could reconcile those hearts. But I do want to add something. As we come out and we march after these violent incidents have happened in our city, it is equally important that we are out there preventing them from happening. And that is why today New North is standing in the gap for our city, for our youth. You guys see all those folks dressed in orange? Those are our outreach workers. They're out there preventing the violence from popping off in our city. So I do want to add something here. It is not just the black community, but it is also the Latino community as well. And we must come together and stand together, because what is affecting one community is affecting the other. And today, I want to say, and I want to repeat the words that I shared with the folks that gathered here with Miss Naylor a couple of weeks ago. It takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to stop gun violence. And that village is here today. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Okay, I can hold this for you. Yep.
All right, so this is the top part right here?
That's the whole thing.
Okay. Okay, this is the petition that we came up with, if you guys want to sign after you hear it. This is to the Governor Baker, Mayor Sarno, Police Commissioner Clapperwood, and City Springfield Council members from Moore. Gun violence is an epidemic in Springfield. In 2019, there were 20 homicides in our city, an increase from the 2 previous years. As of June 26th, there have been 9 deaths from gun violence so far. There is also a rampant gun violence that doesn't result in death that barely makes the news. Parents are afraid to let their children play outside. Our young people are growing into adults in a culture of death and danger. Many go missing, leaving their families agonized for their safety. This is an upfront to the United States Declaration of Independence, which affirms that all people are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We demand safe, peaceful communities free from gun violence and terror. We demand healthy recreational activities that keep our youth engaged and diverted from risky behaviors. We further demand justice for families of unsolved homicides victims and coordinated compassion actions for families of missing persons. Our specific demands: create healthy communities, relocate funds from the city budget for community improvements that can heal the root cause of gun violence. Possibility include youth mentorship, safe recreation centers, community gardens, opportunities to participate in the arts and the family counseling and support services. Prevent gun violence, set up police hub stations, track trends, predict possible trouble, high crime areas, and based on the results, set up police hubs in those areas to provide real-time support to respond to investigate crimes as they happen. This will reduce crime and response time. 2 is to patrol resources based on trends and data. Set up more patrol resources and cameras, 24 monitoring, and license plate readers, detections in high crime areas. Three, trace the guns. Investigate the origins of the seized illegal firearms. Focus on the hotspots where violent crimes are occurring and get the guns out. End cruel wait times. Reinstate a city coroner to pronounce murder victims dead so their families do not have to wait for hours while the body of their loved one is in the street. 5, prevent violence at the root. Set up programs to address the underlying issues that lead to the violent crimes, to intervene and prevent violence before it takes place. Engage members of the community to work with licensed counselors on a confidential basis to identify people who are at risk of either being victims or predators of violent crimes. Locating missing persons. Develop a missing person advisory for those individuals who do not meet the Amber or Silver Alert criteria. Set up a volunteer program related to missing persons. Volunteers can assist police in active missing person cases by canvassing from door to door, helping the searches. Promote and enforce the use of technology and media, phone, GPS tracking, social media, local, to aid investigators and get the community involved when a person goes missing. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yep. Candejah, we're going to have a song from Candejah Pink. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Do you want me to hold it for you? Or do you want to hold it? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hi, my name is Candejah Pink. I'm the Vice President of Chess Angels Promotion. I'm out here to support the violence and also sing a song that I've written because of this. My friend, 4 years ago, son was shot just because coming home from work, getting something to eat, and he just saw a young lady that he wanted to talk to, and another stranger wanted to talk to her, and they got into a confrontation, and the young man shot him. And unfortunately, my friend was she was driving to Florida. When she arrived to Florida, she gets this news that her son is gone. How does a mother drive back, the only designated driver? 10 hours, 12 hours, probably even longer to her, because she's hoping and praying that they lied, that it was a mistake. So, as a friend, and I dedicate this song as well to all the mothers, all the ones that have lost a loved one. This is coming from my heart, but I'm telling her story. It's called Swing, Swing Low. Swing, swing low, sweet old chariot. 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 There's a woman in her home, and she's crying over sorrow. It's coming from deep in her soul, and she doesn't see the morrow. Her baby boy is dying from a great big bullet hole, and she can't find a way to bring him back on home. Swing, swing low, sweet old chariot. Swing, swing low, sweet old chariot. She's asking God to give her strength for the little ones. They lost a brother who was their hero. They looked up to him as he was the chosen one. But since he's gone away, it seems he's gone astray. Swing, swing low, sweet old chariot. Swing, swing low, sweet old chariot. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-ba, ba-da-da-da-da. Dear God, if you're listening to this little prayer, please change the mind of the gone man, the one who doesn't have a name, 'cause his mind's too lame. Until he realized there's a method to this ruthless game. Swing, swing low, sweet old chariot. 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 Swing, swing low. Sweet old chariot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I had to finally get you. Oh, you did great. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to all the speakers and everybody who came out. I really appreciate you all supporting, and we really do got to work together. Our black and brown, we need to be together, stop fighting against one another, and let's make these things happen. Let's get these legislators and these guns off the street. I love you all. Thank you.
You ain't shaking?
No, not yet. Thank you, Mom, the man. Hey, baby. Oh, wait. Yes, you did good too. You started getting into it, huh? Yeah. Once you start doing it, you get into it. Mom's the man is doing it. Thank you. Good. You got my back here.
Thanks everyone for coming out.